So in this video log, we're looking at how effective initial and diagnostic assessment methods can be in agreeing individual learning goals for our learners. And they can be useful and effective, but only if used in the right way. I think it really does depend on what the initial assessment and the diagnostic assessments are, and comes back to the idea of how relevant it is really in helping to identify these goals. So, by doing something like a BKSB maths test at the beginning for a journalism course, it might be good for those doing GCSE maths alongside it, but it's not very good in helping to identify goals for that particular course. And while it's always important to embed maths along the way, in agreeing a goal for the course, you want that to be specific to the course itself. So initial assessment like that would be handy, but something, for example, in journalism we do, maybe like a written assessment, like an article they have to write beforehand, where we can look at not only their writing style and structure, but also comprehension, spelling, grammar, etc. So things like that would give us a better idea of helping a learner work towards something a bit more specifically. Because, looking at goals, coming to goals for a second, as stated in the Certificate in Education and Training book by Anne Gravels, a learning goal is what the learner wants or needs to achieve from their programme or qualification. And certainly these goals, it's very important that they are SMART targets. So, as mentioned earlier about needing to be specific, so they need to be specific to the outcome they're trying to achieve within that module, that course, whether it's newspapers, magazines, in journalism, TV, radio, etc. They need to be measurable, so can the target be achieved at the required level? They need to be achievable, they need to be realistic to what the learner can achieve, and also time bound. So, is there enough time? Have they set themselves enough time to complete that particular goal? One really good way of using initial assessments is looking, so along the way there's lots of different stages of initial assessments that we do, everything from meeting the learner for the first time to doing a writing assessment, for example. But one stage will be looking at what they've achieved on a previous course. And that might help whether the grade they got or some comments that a previous tutor has left, that might add towards, you contribute towards what their goal might be going forward, and that's a very effective way, okay, because that's a real first-hand, this is what they have done, this is what they have achieved in the past, so can we build on that, or can we work towards something else? It's good for the learners in agreeing a goal with them. It's also good to feel that they are the ones setting the goal, so they've either looked at how they've done previously, or they've looked at how they've done an initial assessment, and they're the ones that actually then set themselves a goal. We may communicate with them as tutors, learner mentors with our students, and help guide them towards what they should be working towards, but it's very important, I think, that they use the information they have themselves to set their own goals, because then it's more of a motivation for them to do it. They feel they've achieved something that they have set. Having goals, it's good for learners to know what level they're working at as well. So goals, they can add to keep them being grounded, motivated, complacent, lacking in complacency, also keeps, looking at diagnostic assessments, how they can aid. So it's important that learners keep up to date with how they're progressing. So sort of like assessments are embedded all the time, not only at the beginning of the course and initially, but as they go on. So diagnostic assessments, the more specifics to sort of iron out the peculiars of certain things and what learners can then focus on. That really helps set goals. Again, that word specific. It's important then we embed these all the way along the course, which we do with writing tasks, with skill scans in journalism. Live diagnostic, live trackers. We also give them trackers of all their work, so they're able to sort of see how they're being assessed as they go, and then they can then contribute to setting their own goals. So being visual is very good. Learners can see their feedback They can see how their assessment, with these live trackers, they can see how their assessment is then influencing the goals that they set. You know, and we try and do this on a daily basis as well. We're using something like Shobi. So once they've done once they've been assessed in some way, whether that's right at the start or whether that's ongoing, then they can then, you know, they might have an overall goal for the year, what they want to achieve, but they can also do it daily. So this is what I got in my last piece of work. Okay, same sort of project this next week. This is what I want to achieve this week. Okay, so that ongoing diagnostic assessment is really good for them to be able to set themselves daily goals, little goals, which contribute to that overall big goal.